So I'm a little concerned with how close my key light is. I've seen in like every lighting setup, the key light is supposed to be like right on your face. I think I'm in good graces. We'll see how this video goes. Howdy and welcome back to another episode of Focus Friday here on the Small Bear Studio. Is it the third Focus Friday? Does the quarantine video count as the first? I think I'm just going to label it as the second Focus Friday because I did label the last one as the first. I think that's fair, right? So I'm going to break this up into two kind of segments. What I want as a, personally as a photographer in 2020 and stuff that I think that you guys should have as photographers in 2020. However, both are very applicable if you have a micro four thirds sensor because I am using the GH5 and that's kind of what I'm basing my needs off of because it is my A and B camera. So without further delay, let's get into this video right as soon as I fix that key light. Roll the intro while I fix this. Okay, I think I fixed it. It's back a lot farther, so it's not like that menacing moon in Majora's Mask. If you're not a Zelda fan, you're not going to get that. So the first thing on my list in 2020 to get is not actually just one thing, it's two. And this first thing being the Sigma 18-35 lens for the Canon mount with a Viltrox EF M2 adapter. Now I know you can't exactly mount a full frame lens on a micro four thirds sensor, hence why I'm also throwing in the Viltrox adapter. The reason being why I want this lens so much is that it seems to be kind of the trifecta if you have a GH5. The GH5, the Sigma 18-35, and either the Viltrox or a Metabones. And to be honest, I don't have too much money for a Metabones adapter. So we're just going to have to settle for the Viltrox. I've seen really good results with it on YouTube and other media, so yeah, why not? That's gonna try to be my first purchase this year. If not, I have a few other things in mind. So the next thing on my list is kind of helps out Wildside Wednesday. Don't worry, Wildside Wednesday is still a thing. I have a setup that I want to do for it, but it's just with this whole virus epidemic, I can't exactly go outside because I want Wildside Wednesday to be an outdoor type thing. So we'll have to see and wait until this whole pandemic is over before I really can get into Wildside Wednesday. So this next item plays into that though, and it is the SwitchPod by SwitchPod. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, their company name is SwitchPod, so SwitchPod by SwitchPod. So I do kind of already have a setup in mind for Wildside Wednesday, but a vlogging stick thing doesn't hurt to have because I do want to vlog more. I even might want to vlog for some of these Focus Fridays. So I have seen the SwitchPod before. It's been on Peter McKinnon's channel. He did a pretty good review on it. And I figure, why not a vlogging stick that goes into a tripod? That's pretty revolutionary. I wanted to try GorillaPods, but I hear that they do sometimes kind of break, and I want something sturdy for both a tripod and a vlogging stick. So the SwitchPod seems like a pretty good buy. So for the next item on my list, I do a lot of handheld stuff on my GH5. In 2018, I had a Zion Crane V2, but I was using my Lumix G7 for it. And when I upgraded to my GH5, I actually did kind of have to sell the Crane V2 to get my GH5. But the GH5 was never going to fit on that Crane V2. So the next thing on my list is kind of a stabilizer gimbal type deal. I'm looking specifically for a glide cam. You see, when I had the Zion Crane 2, it was kind of a bother to get out and set up and then take out and put away. I know the same thing's gonna be with a glide cam. I'm not too incredibly picky, but I do like to travel light because I do a lot of hiking, and I do not want something like a steady cam where you have to have the chest rig and the Doc Ock looking octopus arms to help stabilize it. I need light. So if I can find a small glide cam to use for my videos, I think that will put my videography not to the next level, but to a more manageable level. So, and one of the last things that I am personally looking for this year for photography and video is actually an external monitor. Right now, I'm looking at like a 4-inch LCD screen that's maybe 3 to 5 feet away from me. I'm using the 25mm for these Focus Friday setups, and it's just like, you guys are so far away. So point being, I need a bigger screen to look at so I can, focus, pull, and do all that stuff. On top of that, next year I am looking to get one of those anamorphic lenses, the Siru 50mm anamorphic lens to be specific. For $700 getting an anamorphic lens, do you guys know how much anamorphic lens costs? Like above $3,000. That's like insane, because they're not new, they're vintage. Because I guess they don't really make them anymore, and the Siru company that's doing stuff is making a marketplace, market style, market affordable. That's the word I'm looking for. So the Siru 50mm is going to be on my list for next year. If I can somehow get both the Sigma and the Siru in both the same year, whew, don't mind if I do. So now the second part of this video, I do kind of want to talk about more of the stuff that you don't need a micro four thirds sensor for, and technically you don't need a micro four thirds sensor for a gimbal and for an external monitor, but I figure this is just more of the basic stuff that maybe you should have. And so to start this off with, it's actually the thing I'm recording voice on, is one of the Rode microphones. Now, I don't actually have the microphone plugged into my GH5 because since I'm using the 25mm, you guys are, like I said, pretty far back, it's gonna sound like a Gothic cathedral. And it took me a while to figure out what I was doing wrong, because I did some video tests and audio tests before I did all this setup, way back when. And I said to myself, why does this sound so echoey? I'm not in a big room. It didn't make sense to me. So I have the Rode microphone hooked up to just another speaker recorder type thing. It's what I used for college to record lectures. It's the thing you just turn it on and it records voice. So I do think that everybody should have a microphone. It just makes the audio a lot clearer. And especially if you put it closer to you. The closer it is, the clearer it is, and I don't have a boom mic, so a tripod's gonna have to do. The next item on the list is actually probably surprising to you, but it's actually kind of common sense. It's more than one battery for everything. So I'm specifically talking about your camera right now. You need to have more than one battery for your camera. I go to places like, Disney, Universal, I go out for hikes here at home, and I learned very quickly that if you have your camera out all day, it's going to die halfway through that day. So for me, I have 4 batteries on hand that I can just, plug in anytime that one dies, and then I can just throw the other one on the charger. But you don't want to be at a shoot in some remote location and be like, oh, well, one battery, that's it. That's not being too prepared for a wilderness shoot. I'm gonna have to do a wilderness shoot now.
Here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Prospect Pete? So the more than one battery thing kind of leads into the next item, which is more than one memory card. Now the GH5 has a 2-card system where you can put in 2 memory cards, and most cameras don't do that. That's pretty special if you ask me. GH5 Panasonic. I'm not being sponsored by them. Regardless if your camera can fit more than one memory card, you do need to have more than one. I have not been in a scenario where I filled a card. I've come very close to, but once again, you do not want to be in a shoot. You only have one memory card and it's like, oh, I filled that up with, 500 pictures. I can't take anymore. Once again, that's not being prepared. That's not a good thing to do for, a wilderness shoot. I'm really hammering that wilderness shoot. And having more than one battery, having more than one memory card, that's not a bad thing to do. It's not a bad thing to have. Everything in moderation, right? So next thing on the list is an external hard drive. Wait, I thought this was a photography gear type video. Well, yes, let me explain. You are going to fill up your computer very, very fast if you use things like Adobe Lightroom, Photoshop, Premiere Pro. A lot of laptops, I use an Asus laptop, they don't have that great of space, and it gets filled up very quickly. If you buy a 1 terabyte hard drive, external hard drive, you are going to be set for I don't know how long. I've had my external hard drive for like 3 years now, and it's not even half full. So they are a great investment if you are going to take a lot of pictures and a lot of like 4K video. Well, everybody, that's it for another Focus Friday. I hope you guys learned something about camera equipment, but I wanted to get this information out to all of you. These are just some of the items that I would like and that I think that you should have if you do have a G5, if you do have a G7, or GH5, you guys know what I meant. If you have a Micro Four Thirds sensor and you do want a Sigma 18-35, Viltrox, Metabones, those are great buys from the results that I've seen online. And for all the other items, some of the stuff like the gimbal, the external hard drive, the more than one battery, the more than one memory card, they're just not bad things to have, and I believe that those should be common sense. So everybody, I hope you learned something, I hope you enjoyed the video, and for now, and I cannot stress this enough, ha. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click the little notification bell if you're not already notified about my videos. See you guys later.